Welcome to Positive Vortex, your sanctuary for unlocking hidden wisdom, divine codes, and the deeper truths of existence. In this profound journey through the Book of Wisdom, Volume 2 by Harry B. Joseph, we enter not a book, but a living frequency, a cosmic mirror, a sacred revelation encoded in scripture, biology, and the stars themselves. This isn't theology. This is spiritual physics. This is esoteric anatomy. This is the map back to your divine self. What if the Bible wasn't literal history, but a vibrational cipher? What if your body wasn't flesh and bone, but a living tree of life wired to the cosmos? What if perception didn't just reflect reality, but created it? From the crucifixion at 33 to the eye of Horus, from the secrets of the nervous system to the holographic universe, Joseph leads us into the forgotten mysteries of the human soul, the nature of consciousness, and the architecture of the divine encoded within you. So slow down, breathe deep, because this isn't just a summary, this is an initiation. Let us begin.
The Book of Wisdom, Volume 2 by Harry B. Joseph.
The Sacred Code, hidden in the Bible, the human body, and the universe. To perceive the truth, purity of heart must align with self-control. Only by harmonizing the head and the heart can one enter the realm of truth. Truth, in its purest form, cannot be taught. It must be revealed, but not by the teacher, by the self. Harry B. Joseph opens this volume not with dogma, but with a spiritual challenge. He dares us to unlearn what we've been taught, to set aside the lens of society, religion, and science, and look instead through the eye of wisdom. This book, he tells us, is not structured. It's alive. Like a cosmic serpent, it twists and spirals, because truth itself isn't linear. It echoes, it mirrors, it bends. To truly receive its messages, you must become still, open, and fluid, like water returning to source.
Chapter 1. The Bible is a living code, not history, but frequency.
The first and most revolutionary claim of Joseph's work is that the Bible is not a book of literal history. It is a spiritual cipher, a metaphysical blueprint, a symbolic anatomy of consciousness, a psychological map of the soul's evolution. Every name in the Bible is a frequency, every event a layered metaphor, every number a vibrational key. Take Adam and Eve. Adam, Aleph Dalet Mem, is not a man. It is the first breath of awareness, the primordial impulse of consciousness awakening within form. Eve is the intuitive polarity, the internal receptor of divine impulse, the feminine vessel of becoming. The serpent? It's not Satan. It's Kundalini energy, coiled at the base of the spine, waiting to rise up the tree of life within you. The Garden of Eden is the nervous system. The tree of knowledge is dualistic perception. The tree of life is divine unity. Joseph invites us to see Scripture not as moral instruction, but as mystic instruction, a multi-dimensional document encoded in layers. Literal, exoteric, allegorical, mythic, anatomical, biological, astrological, celestial, metaphysical, universal law. Each verse carries metaphors that illuminate the journey of the soul, the workings of the human body, and the process by which one can transcend the material. Thus, the Bible is not outdated. It's perennial, always relevant, because it mirrors your own transformation.
Chapter 2. The Tree of Life, the cosmic blueprint of being.
At the heart of Kabbalistic mysticism is the Tree of Life. But what is it? It is not just a diagram. It is the divine fractal, the scaffolding of creation, the vibrational DNA from which all form, spirit, and consciousness emerges and returns. Joseph writes that this tree is both macrocosmic and microcosmic. On the macro scale, it shows how divine consciousness emanates downward, from pure, formless light, Kether, to structured form, Malkuth. On the micro scale, it maps the soul's journey, your journey, ascending back to source.
The tree has 10 Sephirot, spheres of divine qualities or emanations, 22 paths, connecting energies between states, 1 hidden Sephira, Da'at, knowledge, the gateway to transformation.
Each Sephirah is not a place, but a frequency of being.
For example, Kether, divine will, the source, pure potential. Bina, understanding, structure, the womb of form. Tiferet, compassion, harmony, the solar heart. Yesod, foundation, the subconscious, the sexual gateway. Malkuth, the physical plane, earth, the temple of manifestation.
This tree is also present in you. Each Sephira corresponds to a psychic faculty, like willpower or intuition, a biological organ or gland, a planetary influence, a lesson or virtue to integrate. The tree not only depicts the descent of divine light into form, but the ascent of the human spirit back into unity. And Da'at, it is the veil, the hidden place between the worlds, the bridge across the abyss, the moment where you must surrender everything to receive everything.
Chapter 3, the Tree of Life and the Human Body. You are the temple.
Joseph brings the Tree of Life into the flesh. Here he demonstrates how the human body is not just animated matter, it is encoded divinity.
Kether sits at the crown of the head, the Sahasrara chakra, the divine antenna. Binah and Chokmah align with the left and right hemispheres of the brain, understanding and wisdom in dynamic balance. Tiferet is the heart, the center of the energetic universe.
Yesod is the reproductive system, the subconscious gate.
Malkuth is the feet, the grounding into the earth.
You are the walking tree. Every cell of your being mirrors the structure of the cosmos. Your spine is the central column.
Your breath is the divine wind.
Your heart is the sun that sustains your micro-universe. The head aligns with Kether, the realm of pure consciousness. The feet touch Malkuth, the foundation of Earth. Between them flows the entire cosmic journey. In ancient traditions, the body was never something to be punished or escaped. It was a sacred vehicle, a temple of initiation. This is why in Egypt, India, Greece, and Sumer, initiates studied not only philosophy, but breath, movement, and energetic alignment. Because to know thyself is to know the architecture of the divine.
Chapter 4, Practical Kabbalah, Mysticism Made Real.
This is where Joseph bridges the mystical with the practical. Kabbalah is not simply a doctrine to be studied, it is a technology to be lived. In practical Kabbalah, the Tree of Life becomes your personal soul map. Every soul has a unique tree shaped by your name, your date of birth, your energetic configuration. From this, one can discern their life purpose, karmic lessons, soul gifts, evolutionary trajectory. But here's the secret Joseph reveals. You are not the personality living this life. You are the actor behind the role. Each incarnation is a mask, a character. Your true self is the immortal observer, the soul gathering experience, growing in consciousness through every test. Joseph outlines the 22 learning paths, the life lessons linked to each connection between Sephirot. These include
detachment, forgiveness, patience, self-expression, discipline, initiation, courage, compassion.
These lessons cannot be memorized. They must be lived.
The path is not linear. You are not just climbing the tree, you are becoming it.
When you walk these paths with awareness, you transform your karma into wisdom, your pain into power, your fate into freedom. This is the alchemy of soulhood.
Chapter 5, Planets and Sephiroth, the Cosmic Orchestra Within.
The planets we observe are not just physical forms, but tangible expressions of deeper, non-physical energies that govern the universe. Joseph takes us on a mystical journey into astrological cabala, showing how celestial bodies are spiritual archetypes embedded in the tree of life and within the human psyche. Each Sephira on the tree of life corresponds to a celestial body, symbolizing a unique facet of divine emanation. These planetary archetypes reflect distinct spiritual functions that shape the cosmos and the inner landscape of the soul.
Kether Pluto, the primal source and the infinite void, pure transcendence beyond duality, representing the unknowable crown of creation. Chokmah Uranus, the sudden flash of divine wisdom, visionary insight, and the raw spark of intuitive knowing. Bina Saturn, the power of structure and limitation, the divine womb that shapes, defines, and gives form through discipline and boundaries. Chest, Jupiter, the expansive force of abundance and grace, the archetype of mercy, generosity, and benevolent leadership. Gabura Mars, the divine force of severity and righteous judgment, discipline, strength, and the will to cut through illusion. Tiferet Sun, the radiant center of harmony and beauty, the illuminated heart integrating all forces into balance and spiritual truth. Netzach Venus, the archetype of love, attraction, and fertility, the enduring power of desire, creativity, and emotional connection. Hod Mercury, the domain of reason, speech, and analytical thought, the divine messenger translating spiritual truths into language and understanding. Yesod Moon, the reflective mirror of the subconscious, memory, dreams, and the emotional tides that shape inner experience. Malkuth Earth, the realm of manifestation and material reality, the foundation where spirit becomes flesh and the divine is grounded in form.
The beauty of this system lies in interconnectedness. The cosmos is not out there, it is mirrored within you. Your organs, your emotions, your decisions, they're all modulated by these cosmic forces flowing through the pathways of the tree.
Just as DNA holds your biological blueprint, the tree of life holds your spiritual circuitry, and the planets? They're the divine frequencies modulating your evolution.
In fact, Joseph goes even deeper, suggesting that these planets are the organs of the divine macro being. Just as your heart pumps blood, the sun pumps vitality through the spiritual bloodstream of the galaxy. To become awakened is to realize you are part of this celestial body and to begin living in conscious attunement with its rhythms.
Chapter 6. Tiferet and the Heart, the Sun within the Body.
Tiferet is the central sapphira on the tree of life. It is the heart of the soul, the solar center, the place where higher and lower energies converge. Joseph draws a powerful parallel.
The Sun is the center of the solar system. The heart is the center of the human system. Tiferet is the center of the spiritual system.
They are reflections of each other across scales of reality.
The human body is its own solar system, with the heart as its sun.
In esoteric anatomy, the heart is not just a pump, it is the seat of the soul. It's the place where divine intelligence expresses as empathy, courage, and love. When we say follow your heart, we're not being sentimental. We're invoking the sacred compass that orients the soul toward truth. The path of awakening requires that we
move out of the cold logic of the mind, Hod. Move through emotional imbalance, Netzach, and arrive at the radiant harmony of Tiferet, where reason and feeling, divine and earthly, masculine and feminine, all balance into oneness.
Tiferet is also associated with the sun because it brings warmth, clarity, and life force to the whole system. Just as the sun fuels growth, the heart fuels spiritual evolution. The heart is a portal. Joseph goes even further to describe the heart as a multi-dimensional portal.
In Vedic mysticism, the heart is the Anahata chakra, the bridge between lower and higher centers. In Hermetic alchemy, it is the alchemical vessel where fire meets water and spirit is transmuted through emotion. In Egyptian cosmology, the heart is weighed against the feather of Ma'at, symbolizing its cosmic importance.
To purify the heart is to activate the sun within, aligning your micro-universe with divine law.
Chapter 7. The Crucifixion. At 33, a coded mystery of initiation.
Perhaps one of the most provocative insights in Joseph's work is his decoding of the age of 33, the age at which Jesus was crucified. On the surface, it seems like historical trivia, but Joseph reveals a hidden mathematical revelation.
10 Sephirot, 22 paths between them. One hidden Sephira, Da'at.
10 plus 22 plus 1 equals 33. The number 33 is the total structure of the tree of life. Thus, Christ's crucifixion is not just a historical event, it's a spiritual initiation ritual encoded in cosmic mathematics.
Christ's death at 33 represents the soul's ascent through the tree of life, culminating in ego death, divine union, and resurrection of spirit.
Let's break it down. The cross is the intersection of spirit, vertical, and matter, horizontal. The 5 wounds correspond to the 5 senses, our attachments to the material realm. Golgotha, the hill of crucifixion, symbolizes the climb to higher consciousness. This is why, in esoteric Christianity, the crucifixion is seen as a metaphor for enlightenment.
Death of the ego, sacrifice of attachment, rebirth into divine knowing.
In mysticism, the number 33 is also linked to
the 33 vertebrae of the human spine, the Kundalini energy rising from base to crown, the age of the initiate's spiritual maturity.
Joseph presents Jesus not only as a savior, but as a symbolic avatar of every soul on its journey back to Source. His life was an allegory of internal transformation. To be crucified at 33 is to pass through the complete system of spiritual evolution and emerge as a Christed being.
Chapter 8. The 5 Senses. Bridges of Electrical Awareness. The senses are more than tools of the body. They are divine circuits, activated by thought and regulated by spirit.
In this chapter, Harry B. Joseph reveals that our five senses, sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch, are not just faculties of survival. They are gateways of spiritual interaction, allowing the formless soul to experience form. Each sense is a bridge of electrical communication between the physical and metaphysical. Let's break this down. Sight, light, the gateway of vision, where the retina captures photons. It is the sacred interpreter of light, revealing how we perceive and construct reality itself.
Hearing, sound, the ear transforms vibrations of air into meaning, a bridge to the unseen, allowing us to attune to frequencies, sacred words, and the music of creation.
Smell, scent, the subtle power of chemoreception, awakening memory and instinct, the primal sense that stirs emotion and connects us to the past through the breath of the moment.
Taste, essence, the alchemy of flavor and chemical perception, a spiritual gauge of discernment, revealing what aligns or clashes with the body's deeper energy.
Touch, presence, the sense of pressure, texture, and temperature, the most grounding of all, rooting awareness in the now and reconnecting the soul to the sacred temple of the body. Joseph likens the body to an electrical temple where each sense functions like a sacred instrument, playing notes in a symphony of divine communication. However, he warns that modern society overstimulates the senses, trapping them in illusion. Constant bombardment of artificial sound, flickering images, chemical scents, and chaotic motion has hijacked the soul's perception.
The purest sense is silence.
It is in stillness that the true senses awaken, beyond the five, into the sixth and seventh, intuition and divine knowing. Thus, the five senses must be seen as holy instruments, meant to serve the spirit, not enslave it.
Chapter 9. The Nervous System, the Sacred Tree of Electricity. The body's nervous system is not mechanical, it is mystical.
Joseph unveils an astonishing revelation here. The nervous system is the tree of life in motion. It connects
The crown, brain and higher consciousness. To the root, spine, instincts, survival. Through the heart, emotional integration.
It is quite literally a living, breathing Kabbalistic tree with pathways, circuits, and bridges. He describes how the central nervous system mirrors the middle pillar of the tree of life. Brain, Kether. Pineal plus pituitary glands, Dart. Spinal column pathways through the Sephirot. Solar plexus, Yesod, the foundation of intuitive knowing. Base, Malkuth, the earth-anchored body. The nervous system is how divine light moves through matter. In Kundalini Yoga, this energy is called Shakti. It spirals up the spine like a serpent, activating inner worlds through the chakras. In Egyptian magic, it is the Jed pillar, the stable spinal throne of Osiris. In Gnostic Christianity, it is the serpent of wisdom that rises, not falls.
Electricity in the body is not just energy, it is encoded intelligence.
The more one calms the nervous system, the more one opens to divine awareness. This is why breath, posture, diet, and intention are not just health tools, but ritual technologies.
Chapter 10. The Eye of Horus, the Physiology of Mystic Sight.
In this chapter, Joseph turns our gaze to one of the most mysterious and potent symbols in ancient wisdom, the Eye of Horus. This is not merely an icon of protection. It is a neurosymbolic diagram of the human brain and pineal region. Let's decode its layers. Esoteric interpretation of the Eye of Horus.
The spiral curve, eyebrow, frontal lobe.
Reasoning, intention, imagination.
The right side of the eye, corpus callosum.
The bridge between hemispheres.
The teardrop curve, under eye, medulla oblongata.
Breath control, gateway to autonomic function.
The spiral tail, pineal gland.
The seat of intuition, third eye.
The mark on the side, thalamus.
The relay station of perception. This symbol encodes the very architecture of awakened sight. The ancient Egyptians weren't being poetic. They were transmitting neuro-mystical science.
True vision is not with the physical eyes, but through the eye of spirit.
The Eye of Horus represents clairvoyance, psychic intuition, symbolic decoding, dream navigation. Joseph explains how modern society has calcified this inner eye through poor diet, electromagnetic overload, and spiritual disconnection. The remedy? Fasting, pineal stimulation, visualization, mantra, sacred geometry, and light awareness. You do not open the third eye through seeking, but through unblocking.
Chapter 11, Light, Electricity, and the Spiritual Physics of Perception.
Everything you see, feel, and know is filtered through light. Not metaphorical light, actual quantum electromagnetic radiation. Joseph outlines how all sensory data is, at its core, vibrational information. Light is vibration. Sound is vibration. Emotion is vibration. Thought is vibration. You do not experience the world directly. You experience your perception of waveforms being interpreted as matter.
Reality does not exist as fixed form until it is observed.
This echoes the quantum observer effect.
Until you observe a particle, it remains in waveform, pure potential. Your act of seeing collapses the wave into a measurable experience.
Thus, perception is creation. You are not a passive receiver of the world, you are an active projector of reality. This links to Hermetic law.
The all is mind. As within, so without. The universe is mental.
When you look at a tree, you're not just seeing a tree. You're seeing the reflected light off its surface, filtered through the lens of your beliefs, interpreted by your brain's symbolic database, anchored in your current vibrational frequency. Joseph likens this to the sigil of Lucifer, which he says has been misrepresented.
Lucifer means light bearer.
The sigil represents not evil, but the interface of perception, awareness, and creation.
Those who master perception master reality. Chapter 12, The Anunnaki Within, Spirit Meets Matter. Man is not fallen from the heavens. Man is the meeting point of heaven and earth.
Harry B. Joseph reframes the often misunderstood mythology of the Anunnaki. In mainstream circles, they're depicted as extraterrestrial beings or ancient alien engineers. But in deeper esoteric thought, the Anunnaki are symbols of the human condition, the fusion of the celestial and terrestrial, of spirit and matter. Anu plus Kai. You. Anu. Sky, spirit, cosmic mind. Ki, earth, body, material realm. Anunnaki, that which is born of both. You are not simply descended from gods, you are a living manifestation of their union. Your body is earth, your soul is sky, and your consciousness is the bridge. This echoes the Hermetic teaching.
That which is above is like that which is below, and that which is below is like that which is above, to accomplish the miracles of the one thing.
In Zoroastrian mysticism, this same duality exists in the form of Ahura Mazda, light, and Angra Mainyu, shadow, both necessary within the field of creation. Joseph challenges us to move beyond the dualistic myth of a fall from grace. There was no fall, only descent into form, and from form, we rise again.
Chapter 13: Quantum Consciousness and Downward Causation.
In this profound chapter, Joseph introduces us to one of the most cutting-edge mystical scientific revelations: downward causation.
The brain does not create consciousness. Consciousness uses the brain.
This flips mainstream neuroscience on its head. Traditional science says atoms, molecules, neurons, brain, mind, consciousness. Joseph, aligned with quantum physicist Amit Goswami, shows us that the reverse is true. Consciousness is the foundation. It manifests the mind. The mind shapes the brain. The brain governs the body. The body interacts with the material world. This is downward causation, the movement of spirit into form, not form into spirit. It aligns with ancient mystical views from India, Kabbalah, and Egypt. In Vedanta, consciousness, Atman, is the source of all existence. In Kabbalah, light emanates down the tree before forming Malkuth. In Egyptian cosmogony thought, Thoth precedes creation, Ptah. So what is mind? It's not in the head, it's a field, a non-local energetic presence beyond time and space. When you think, feel, and perceive, you are not just reacting. You are collapsing infinite possibilities into your chosen experience. You are the observer and the creator simultaneously.
Chapter 14: The Holographic Universe. You are the whole in the part. In every drop of water, the entire ocean exists.
Joseph brings us into the realm of holographic reality, an idea rooted in both ancient mysticism and modern physics. What is a hologram? In physical science,
A hologram is a 3D image encoded in a 2D plane. Even if you break it apart, each piece still contains the whole image.
now imagine the universe as a hologram.
Every part of reality, every atom, every cell, every thought contains the pattern of the whole. You, as a human being, contain the entire structure of the cosmos encoded within you.
This aligns perfectly with Kabbalah's tree of life, where the microcosm reflects the macrocosm. Vedantic philosophy, where Atman, individual soul, is Brahman, universal consciousness. Gnostic mysticism, where the divine spark resides in every human.
Each human is a fractal of divine consciousness, a full mirror of the all.
This is not just poetic metaphor, it's energetic truth. Every heartbeat echoes the pulse of stars. Every decision bends the quantum field. Every awareness influences the entire system.
Chapter 15: Perception creates reality, the law of observation.
Joseph ends this section with a striking idea, that conscious observation collapses waveforms into particles. In simpler terms, reality doesn't exist unless you look at it. This is the quantum observer effect, first seen in the famous double-slit experiment. When light or electrons pass through two slits, they behave like waves until a human observer watches them. Upon observation, the waves collapse into particles, forming a fixed pattern. This means your attention creates form. If you direct your awareness toward peace, peace manifests. If you fixate on fear, fear becomes matter. If you meditate on unity, your body and world begin to harmonize with that pattern. This reveals the true power of human consciousness. We are not victims of matter, we are co-creators of it.
To observe is to conjure, to perceive is to shape, to be conscious is to create.
This is the secret hidden in the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus, the vision of Lao Tzu, the mathematics of Nassim Haramein, the scriptures of Kabbalah and the Zohar. The more conscious you become, the more flexible reality becomes.
Integration, Anunnaki, quantum mind, and holographic self.
To summarize Joseph's multi-layered vision, you are not a sinner, you are an Anunnaki, born of heaven and earth. You are not a brain, you are a quantum field of pure awareness. You are not in the universe is in you, holographically encoded. You are not here to escape matter, you are here to awaken within it. This is not religion. This is spiritual physics. Joseph reveals a path not of worship, but of remembrance. You are a divine spark, walking through a dream of your own projection, slowly waking up.
Chapter 16, The Visual Cortex, the Cosmic Projector. The brain does not see, the eye does not see, it is the field of consciousness that sees.
Harry B. Joseph turns our attention to one of the most overlooked yet mystical structures in the body, the visual cortex, located in the occipital lobe at the back of the brain. He explains that vision, as we commonly understand it, is an illusion. You are not looking out of your eyes like windows. Instead, light enters the eye. The eye flips the image upside down. The image is sent to the back of the brain. The brain processes the electrical data and reconstructs a visual field. The mind overlays meaning based on memory, language, and frequency. Your visual reality is not external. It is created internally by the brain, using electrical impulses interpreted through consciousness. Joseph likens the visual cortex to a spiritual projector. The eye is the lens, the brain is the processing engine, but the mind is the film.
What you see is not what exists. What you see is what you believe exists.
He links this to ancient Hermetic knowledge. As within, so without. As the mind perceives, so the world appears. Joseph also notes that the visual cortex is deeply connected to the pineal gland, which acts as an interdimensional receptor. When the visual cortex and pineal are in harmony through practices like meditation, fasting, and sacred geometry, the individual begins to see beyond form, into vibration, aura, and higher frequencies. This is the activation of true sight, where one no longer sees just objects, but the spiritual pattern beneath all matter.
Chapter 17, Time is not real, the illusion of linearity. Time is a dimension of perception, not a property of the universe.
In one of the most paradigm-shattering chapters, Joseph unravels the illusion of linear time. He argues that past, present, and future do not exist as fixed points, but rather as vibrational fields that can be accessed depending on the state of the observer's consciousness. This perspective echoes
Einstein's relativity, where time bends with gravity. The Hermetic principle of rhythm, where cycles repeat across dimensions. Tibetan Dzogchen, which views time as a dream within awareness. The law of one, which refers to all moments as existing in the eternal now.
Joseph writes that trauma locks us into past time loops, while desire projects us into futures that do not exist. True spiritual awakening occurs when one steps outside of time, into the perpetual now where all potential converges. He suggests that time can be navigated like space and that spiritually awakened beings can access future timelines through resonance, past lives through vibrational keys, parallel selves through emotional frequency matching. This ties in with the Akashic field, a universal memory grid where all soul experience is recorded as frequency, not events.
When the mind becomes still, the soul remembers the timeless truth.
To escape suffering, one must learn to be present without identification. Time, Joseph explains, is the great hypnotist, but it can be unbound through awareness, breath, and conscious observation.
Chapter 18: The Soul's Return from Form to Formlessness. The purpose of incarnation is not to become spiritual. It is to remember that you already are.
As the Book of Wisdom Volume 2 draws to a close, Joseph returns to the ultimate mystery, the return of the soul to Source. He describes the soul as a vibrational seed of divine consciousness, projected from the infinite to gain experience through limitation. The body is the soil, the mind, the climate, the heart, the gardener. Through lifetime after lifetime, the soul learns. Compassion through separation, wisdom through confusion, light through shadow, unity through contrast. Eventually, it reaches a point where it no longer needs form. It reintegrates into the non-local field, the one mind. This is echoed in
Sufism, where the soul journeys from self, nafs, to the beloved, haq. Kabbalah, where the soul ascends the tree back to Kether. Taoism, where all form dissolves into the Tao, the nameless origin. Gnosticism, where the divine spark escapes the demiurge's illusion and returns to pleroma.
Joseph writes that death is not the end. It is the reunion, not an annihilation, but a homecoming.
You are not a wave. You are the ocean, temporarily pretending to be a wave.
To return to Source is not to become nothing, but to become everything at once, beyond body, beyond mind, beyond story. This is enlightenment. And the beautiful irony is, you never left. You only forgot. This life is simply the remembering.
Final reflections. You are the cosmic technology.
In the end, Joseph's message is both ancient and revolutionary. The human body is not a random product of evolution. It is a sacred machine, a living temple of consciousness. The mind is not locked in the skull. It is an infinite field connected to everything. The senses, brain, chakras, and glands are all part of a divine interface, bridging the infinite and finite. Reality is not fixed. It is projected, perceived, and co-created through attention and vibration. Time is not a straight line. It is a spiral. The soul is not separate from God. It is God experiencing itself through you.
You are not just a mind, a body, or a name. You are consciousness encoded in matter, a fragment of the infinite, walking through the illusion of form to remember the truth of formlessness.
Harry B. Joseph's Book of Wisdom. Volume 2 is more than text. It's a mirror to your divine blueprint, the tree of life within your spine, the solar system in your organs, the God seed blooming in your soul.
You are the Anunnaki, the fusion of spirit and matter. You are the observer collapsing reality into being. You are the hologram that contains the whole. You are not in time, time is in you.
The sacred codes hidden in the Bible, Kabbalah, quantum science, and your nervous system all point to one truth. You are the bridge between heaven and earth, the dreamer and the dream, the temple and the light it holds. Now, the question is not whether this knowledge is real. The question is, what will you do with it? Subscribe to Positive Vortex for more sacred revelations. Check the description for purchasing the volumes 1 and 2 of The Book of Wisdom. And most importantly, remember who you are. You are the Book of Wisdom, and the story is just beginning. Stay conscious, stay connected, stay divine. Thank you for watching.